Welcome back in to the Summer Stew. Under review, episode 23.
That's right, 23.
The big shout out to Michael Jordan today, 23. The GOAT, undisputed.
If
well,
you
it's
listened to
disputed.
our episode a while ago about
Episode
that,
11,
then you will know
actually.
for a fact that it is he is the undisputed GOAT.
There is no
Based
question.
on facts, opinions, and everything else that you can think of.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy today. Nick, are you pretty happy?
I am mildly happy.
I am super hyped for this episode because it is time for the finals episode where we talk about how right Joseph was and how wrong Nicholas was. And it's one of my favorite episodes. By the way, stay tuned under review here in a few months, and we'll be having another one of those about the Dolphins and how they won the division from the Bills.
That's where the line gets drawn.
Dude, I make the line. I'm right in this instance. The Warriors took home their fourth ring this past week in 6 games against the Celtics, who honestly disappeared after game 3.
Yeah.
Game 2, actually. They disappeared after game 2.
I don't even know if they were
game
really
3.
there.
No, game 3. They disappeared after game 3. It was a sorry showing. We'll get into that. But just know there will be a lot of this is all basketball talk today, all finals talk, and then so let's just jump into it. So the stat of the week is brought to you by Shannon Penn. She is a speech therapist, and she does therapy sessions from her home, from her house. So, hit her up if you have trouble speaking or know someone who has trouble speaking. And she can definitely help out with that. Also, special shout out to Deck and Shannon Penn, because when this episode releases, it will be their anniversary. So happy anniversary. Mom and Dad, they are my parents. And, I bet y'all didn't know that, but now you do.
May I be so bold as to ask how many years?
Yes, 26.
Woo.
You like how fast I was with that? I actually know the number.
Congratulations.
I'm a good
that
kid.
Was not.
I didn't look it up or anything, guys. Like I knew.
He just knew off the top of his head.
That's off the top of my head. I knew it was 26. So, Mom and Dad, obviously, I know y'all are celebrating your anniversary by listening to our podcast. So I just want to give them a shout out, and we'll see if they actually listen if they respond to what I just said. So, but Shannon brings you this quote today. Mom brings you this quote. I don't know. I don't want to be like super disrespectful, but the Warriors never in all the series they've played this playoffs, they'd never faced elimination in any single series. So the max number of games they played was 6, and then they won the series. Never faced elimination. That's very impressive considering that they weren't actually a powerhouse this year. They were the 3 seed going in the West, and they never trailed in this. Obviously, we wish Dallas would have maybe done a little bit better than 5 games, but they didn't. And so the Warriors, they took care of business this postseason. And that is your stat, brought to you by Shannon Penn, a.k.a. Joseph's mom.
Joseph's mom. That's right. Obviously, the player of the week, you all probably can guess it. It is the Stephen Curry. He has won his 4th ring this year and has that finals MVP. Attaboy, Stephen Curry, and he put
Fantastic
up a pretty
showing.
Dominant performance in the playoffs period.
He averaged over
Obviously,
30.
In the finals, he kind of ran the show, and then he low-key did that in the playoffs as well.
Absolutely. If y'all don't take anything else out of this episode, I want you to take 2 things out of it. 1, happy anniversary to Joseph's mom and dad, and then 2, keep calm and curry on. Yes, I just came up with that right before the show, and yes, I was planning on using it at some point, so I just couldn't keep it in. Let's jump into it. Let's talk about the finals. Nick. Obviously, Nick picked the Celtics to win in 6. Did not go as planned.
The series was over in 6, but just not in the way that I wanted.
Exactly. So, what thoughts on the series?
I mean, I felt like overall Boston was not there.
Boston left after game 3. They were done.
They had a very underwhelming performance. Obviously, game 6, they jumped out to an early lead, like right at the beginning, and then after that, they just couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop Curry. Obviously, once he gets going, no one really can, and they let him get into a groove, and he kind of just stole the show.
So, yeah, Jason Tatum disappeared. Like, he was terrible. Game 6, when they had that 12-2 lead at the very beginning, they were all, like, dancing around, like, hyped up and everything, and everyone was like...
kind of acting like they already won the game.
With Golden State, you have to be locked in the entire game, not just 2 minutes in the first. But Boston seemed like they just weren't ready for a big moment like that. Jason Tatum was not. He was like the whole week was like, I don't know if I'm a superstar, like all this stuff, and everyone was like, why? Like, just sound confident, dude. You're supposed to carry your team.
You're in the finals, dude. Like,
obviously, Steph Curry is like one of my favorite players in the league, and many other people's, because he is just so much fun to watch. That confidence that he brings, that like it's like an arrogance, but at the same time, it's like he's humble. It's what Steve Kerr said. He's humble off the court, but on the court, he has this like confidence, this cockiness to him that you like to see in your superstars, athletes. So he was phenomenal. He obviously carried Golden State to the win. Klay Thompson wasn't as contributing because he's been facing that big injury. It was just good for him to get the win.
He was lucky tossing up bricks in Game 6.
Game 6, he really took the liberty of
Obviously,
just shooting as much as he could.
Did it really mean anything? But
yeah, here's how bad Boston was. In Game 4, Steph Curry went 0 for 9 from 3. And the Golden State Warriors as a whole went 9 for 40 from 3. That never happens at Golden State. And Boston still
I just felt like in Game 6, it was just turnover after turnover after turnover for like both teams.
They had 20. Boston had 22. I don't know the Warriors number, but yeah. Boston has a pretty bad losing record whenever they have over 15 turnovers.
I also think that this will speak to... I'm a huge Steve Kerr fan.
Dude, Steve Kerr is so good.
The undisputed just champion, period.
He has
a coach,
9 now.
As a coach and as a player.
He now has...
He just has to be the undisputed champion.
4 as a coach and then 6 as a player. Obviously 3 with Chicago. And then he also has a bunch with the Spurs. So he just racking up championships in his career.
You just can't dispute that.
I think it's safe to say that he will be the coach of the Warriors until he retires. Like until he wants to leave. He
Absolutely.
He has to leave. He's earned that. Obviously, Jason Kidd is on the rise. Yes. Let's just be honest. But it was. I don't even see. It wasn't even that good of a series, in my opinion. Like
there weren't really many.
There were no close games. I think they were all double-digit games, like if I'm not mistaken.
That was the story of the whole playoffs.
It really was. General. It really was.
Except for that one Mavs-Jazz game.
Yeah, there were a couple playoff games.
Bogdanovich missed that 3 to win it, and then. But other than that, I can't think of another one.
I think when it got to the finals, like the Western Conference Finals and the Eastern Conference Finals, there weren't very many.
Yeah,
there definitely weren't on the Mavs or Warriors series. I know
for a fact there wasn't.
I think the NBA needs to look at that because with the evolution, which we're going to talk about this in a second, but with the evolution of the 3-ball, that provides bigger comebacks, bigger blowouts. There's just something that you got to do to keep, because these finals were the least watched finals so far, and a lot of people were obviously like, this is the first summer that is kind of a free, like not COVID summer. So obviously everyone's taking advantage of that. And the finals hit as soon as school got out. So people were going on vacation and stuff. But I think it was also because the games weren't as exciting to watch. And the only reason if you're not a Warriors or Celtics fan, the main reason a lot of people were watching was Steph. And
right.
That was pretty much it. So the league needs to do something about that. But the series in general, I think Boston will be back. I think they'll be good. Like Jason Tatum's not going anywhere. Jaylen Brown's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that team is going to be set for a while. Like obviously, a lot of those dudes are going to be coming back, and they'll be around for.
Although I will say the East won't be as bad either. The Bucks will be back with Chris Middleton. Yeah. There'll be some interesting things happening this offseason. The Warriors actually will be back as well. They're not losing anyone, and so I think.
Dude, you know who's going to be on the rise? The Mavs. That's right.
The Mavs are on the rise. We are making some good offseason moves. We acquired Christian Wood for a few players that we never used, including Boban. Obviously, he'll be missed by Luka. But other than that, like we are on the rise. Christian Wood is a great acquisition for the Mavs. We won't really go into that right now because hopefully he's not the only acquisition, because if that's the only one, then I'll be severely disappointed.
That's hopefully the first piece.
But
We will move on.
I think like with the finals, it was so good to see. For me, it was great to see Steph win as soon as they won, like all that just emotion just pouring out of him. Obviously Clay roasted him for that yesterday in the parade that they had. And but he won his first finals MVP, which here's my thing. I'm gonna say this because it's my turn to speak about Steph Curry because I was right. Yeah. Anyways, there's been a lot of pushback as to whether or not Steph is good necessarily. Great. Everyone thinks he's good, but great because he didn't have a finals MVP. I'm using air quotes for our listeners right now. He didn't have a finals MVP, but now that he has one, apparently that makes him great. Like, he was great before the finals MVP, and now he has one, which is good for him, but he didn't need a finals MVP. We talked about this before the finals. In my opinion, he was already top 10. A lot of people, this is the biggest debate going on right now, is whether or not Steph Curry is a top 10 player of all time. He didn't need a finals MVP, but apparently that does it for a lot of people. And then obviously some people still don't have him in the top 10. He's not Michael Jordan. Like, he's not a clear-cut, number one overall, but I think he's in my top 10 for sure. Nick, has your opinion changed on the top 10?
I'll give him...
based on his performance in the finals?
I'll give him top 10. I don't think he's top 5, but he's top 10 for sure for me.
He's my number 10. He's just in the top 10.
Because, it's just so difficult because back in the day, there were just so many dominant players.
Yeah, it's true. Because to put him in, who are you supposed to take out?
Yeah, that was my thing. Is I had my 10, I still have my 10. It's just hard to think who am I taking out?
Exactly, but I think if he keeps winning, obviously he'll build a stronger case. But it is still a big debate. I think ultimately when you talk about top 10, it comes down to something. Whether or not you value, personally, you value, scoring, you value, importance, you value influence, all this stuff, that's what affects your top 10. So, obviously, Michael had all of it. He was the biggest influence the NBA's ever seen. He changed the game of basketball.
His finals record speaks for itself.
He's a champion because it comes down to, that's what I was, winning, scoring, and influence, I think, is what, and it varies on your importance of those three. But Michael was top time on all three. And if anyone comes up to me and says LeBron is the GOAT over Michael Jordan, I will probably
it just doesn't make sense.
Not be happy.
He has a losing finals record. How can you?
Oh, so, yeah. Speaking of, Steph has the same amount of rings.
Many rings as,
and he's only lost 2 finals.
As the king.
Air quotes.
Yeah, the king. Air quotes.
There has been some debate as to whether or not that Steph Curry is necessarily better than LeBron,
but that just
but is
put
he
it into perspective.
Here's my thing. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna get a lot of pushback for this, and I actually think you agree with me on this. But because of our episode about LeBron,
if it's LeBron hate, then I probably
it's not.
Agree with
it's not necessarily I respect LeBron. I think he's great, but he's not Michael Jordan. And so there's a guy that came out with a quote the other day too. This is off topic a little bit, but Grant Hill came out and said Jordan's the GOAT, but he hates that people try to compare LeBron and Jordan because to compare them, you have to slight the other one. And they're both just great, but obviously Jordan was better. But LeBron's still great. LeBron is still top 10 all time. No one's taking that away from him. I don't have him at number 2 either. But
I have him at...
I don't really have him in my top 5. I'll be honest with you right now. But hey, he's still top 10 in my opinion. And I don't think there's any dispute whether or not LeBron's top 10. But I will say, y'all's argument for why LeBron is the GOAT is because he makes his teammates better. He carries a team. He's a better leader. Well, guess what? Steph Curry is the exact same way. And guess what? Steph Curry, when his team got garbage, did not leave. LeBron's left 3 teams now. Steph didn't go anywhere.
And honestly, look who it worked out for.
It worked out for Steph.
When LeBron's franchises were dying, he left and went somewhere else, but it didn't work out for him, did it? Nope.
Yeah, not only did he leave and go somewhere else, he left and went to a better team. So that kind of also helps when you leave to go to a better team. You just naturally like win more.
And obviously, every team that LeBron has been on has been catered to his will. Like, he wants this guy, so they go out and get this guy. He doesn't want this guy on his team, so they like cut him or whatever, or trade him or something. So like he goes there and expects them to just do his every will, but he doesn't allow like the coach to coach. He makes it all about himself.
And I think that he does make his teammates better. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't, but I'm going to say if you're using that argument with LeBron, then it applies to Steph too, because I think Steph makes his teammates better, actually better than LeBron makes his teammates. And also, the Warriors in general have done a phenomenal job. Their front office deserves tons of credit at keeping their 3 stars for 11 years now. Draymond, Clay, and Steph have all been together for 11 years. Andre's been there, Iguodala, for most of the time. He's brought that veteran leadership that you need. And now they have 3 young guys who didn't play in the finals: Kuminga, Moody, and Wiseman, who are apparently like on the rise. So the Warriors are going to be good for a while. And their front office deserves tons of credit for just putting this team together. And I guess I have to ask you, Nick, they've won 4 titles in 8 years. So are they a dynasty, in your opinion?
I'm going to say yeah. Like, are you saying are the Warriors a dynasty? I think they're a dynasty.
Like, are they going to go down in history as a dynasty for you?
For sure. Obviously, no dynasty will ever compete with the Bulls.
Yeah, that's
dynasty.
not a question.
But I think,
if they were to like win like 4 more in the next 4 years.
Okay, I guess as of right now, they don't compete with that. But obviously, I think you can have them up there with the Bulls, and I honestly think that by the end of it,
they could add a couple more.
They will have a couple more, and I think that you may say they're the same level or even better than the Bulls dynasty.
It's gotten to the point where, like, okay, everyone was like, this year Steph Curry didn't have Kevin Durant. Like, that's why everybody was like, Boston's going to win. I think now Steph's like cemented it to everyone. Like, you don't bet against the Warriors. You know how it used to be with the Bulls, how it used to be with the Spurs. Like, you don't bet against these guys. How it used to be with the Heat for a very short amount of time until we beat them. Just saying,
that's
in 2011.
Right. 2011.
But like the great basketball dynasty, I see a lot of people count the Heatles as a basketball dynasty. I don't, because they were very short lived with LeBron. That didn't last super long. I mean, I guess while they were together, they were like dynasty material. But
they were like really, really good.
They were amazing, but they didn't stay together for that long.
Like a lot.
They won 2.
They beat the Spurs,
and they beat us once.
So I guess it was only 2. So I don't really consider that a dynasty.
Yeah, the Warriors have won 4 in 8 years, and they don't show any like slowing
signs
down right now. Yeah, obviously Curry's getting older, Thompson's getting older, but like I just said, they have actually some really good young guys coming up.
One thing that amazed me was I thought that going into the playoffs that the Warriors were not super strong. Like,
right. That's what a lot of people thought.
I just thought it was interesting how I honestly, I don't think the best team in the NBA won the finals. If I'm being like, I can think of teams.
The best talent. Yeah, the talent, most talent.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think the Suns were better. Obviously, we just somehow we just put up an immaculate performance, wowed the world, even ourselves. Because whenever we were going up against the Suns,
we didn't think we were going to win either.
Well, I guess we're going home.
It's been a good run.
I honestly thought the Grizzlies were going to do it, but unfortunately for them, they lost Ja to injury during that Golden State series, and that proved to be very pivotal for the Warriors. And then I thought the Bucks were really good. I thought the Heat were really good as well, but
out of the East. Yeah, I agree. Okay, here's the thing. A lot of people think the Bucks would have gone if Chris Middleton hadn't gotten hurt. I kind of agree. I don't think that the Celtics would have beaten them in 7 with Chris Middleton, because Chris Middleton's just a playoff like wizard. His regular season numbers aren't as good, but when he gets to the playoffs, he's clutch.
And then Giannis is just
obviously Giannis. But I think that it speaks to the like playoff experience that the Warriors had. Because it just showed, like,
all those guys have been there before.
You could tell
what it's like to play under the lights.
Yeah, you could tell when they were playing, like, they belong there. They were like, yeah, we're here to win it. And like Boston, like I got that vibe from Al Horford but that was pretty much it. Like, I didn't get it from like Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum, by the way, like he flaked on his team, and he was never confident during press conferences. Like, he didn't show that. And I heard like Colin Cowherd say like, when Jason Tatum said, I don't know if I'm a superstar, like Colin Cowherd said, like, if this was Michael Jordan playing against him, like Michael Jordan would just target him the entire
Crush
time.
him like a bug.
And that's what the Warriors did. They like defended him like crazy. They're like, if you don't believe in yourself, then, we're going to make you, like, your team not believe in you, your fans not believe in you. That's what they did. They shut him off, shut him down, and Golden State took home that trophy. I'm super happy for Golden State. I'm super happy for Steph Curry. Even if they don't win another one after this, they have definitely, like, they're a dynasty for sure. They've shown that they did not need Kevin Durant to win another one. And now Kevin Durant's getting a lot of flack because it now looks like he needed them because he only
the
won
big
with
thing
him.
is that Kyrie left the Celtics to go play on or to go to a different team and go win a championship, the Nets. And then Kevin Durant left his team to go be on a super team and win a championship, the Nets. And then look what happened to them. They got swept by the Celtics in the first round.
Both of their old teams played
each other in
which
the finals.
showed that they didn't need them. Keep your heads up also for a NBA overrated players episode that we've actually been discussing because there are way too many overrated players in the NBA. And that just, whatever you just said, I'm not going to give too much away, but Nick and I will come up with a list of ridiculously overpaid, overrated NBA players. And we're just going to have an episode where we just roast them.
Get to bash all these players. That's right.
But congrats to the Golden State Warriors. Mm-hmm. Congrats to Steph Curry for getting that Finals MVP.
This was a Finals that I was okay with watching. Like, I actually had fun because this one I wasn't like. Obviously, I wanted the Celtics to win, but it wasn't like, oh man, I hate the Warriors. I hope they get swept. I hope Steph Curry tears his hamstring and never plays a game again in his life. It's like
right.
I actually was able to watch because I didn't really feel a certain way about either team.
I was the same way. I was like, I don't hate either team.
I guess that's how it was last year. Like, I didn't hate the Bucks. I didn't hate the Suns.
Yeah, same here.
But obviously, the year before that, I'm a LeBron hater. Like, I cannot stand all the hype that he gets. It is just absolutely criminal that people will blaspheme him as the GOAT. And I just cannot stand it. So that was the big thing. But then they were playing the Heat, and I'm not a fan of the Heat either. So I was like, I don't even want to watch this.
Well, and it was the bubble, so everyone was like, "Well, this championship doesn't even count." So
it's got a little asterisk next to it.
I'm not a LeBron hater. I respect his game. I respect what he's done.
I still think he's good.
He's not. See, that's the thing. The fact that people call him the GOAT makes us like not like him because like
makes my blood.
And I'm not gonna lie, it is like people will be like, it's not his fault. He came into the league and he tattooed the chosen one on his back. He picked his number 23, like for a reason. Like he's been trying to do the new Space Jam. He's trying to do everything like Michael did, basically saying he's the next Michael.
Dude, and this is something that I will stand by. Is like, dude, whose logo is that right here? I'm pointing at like your shoulder. Where you got like the Jordan logo. Yeah, that's the GOAT right there. You wear him on your person every day of your life.
And like we said before, Kobe won 6 rings. So it's until LeBron gets there, like he really shouldn't be in the discussion. But that's a discussion for another day because we're not doing a GOAT.
Him too.
Magic's over him in my top. Magic's 2 on my list.
I'll put Tim over him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go that far.
Yeah, I'm actually.
Yeah, Tim's
I'm gonna take that back.
Tim is in the top 10, though.
I was just spewing out.
Tim is in the top 10.
Yeah.
For sure. But congrats to Golden State. The Bay Area got you another chip. And as far as we know, that dynasty continues until I guess they retire.
I guess so. Yes, absolutely. So let's bring you the quote that will end our show. So obviously the man of the hour was Steph Curry. So I thought I would bring to you a quote by him. Success is not an accident. Success is actually a choice. And I want you to take that with you for the rest of this week.
That's coming from a man who knows how to be successful. Just saying. But we thank y'all for tuning in this week with us. So, real quick, the next 4 or 5 weeks are dead weeks.
There's just kind of this gap.
Dead weeks, like we said.
Basketball is
y'all
over.
Don't want baseball, obviously. So, It's going to be just whatever topics we come up with, and we hope to entertain y'all and have some
obviously,
lively
if you
debates.
have an idea of like what you want to hear, just like reach out, let us know,
Yes.
because we have free reign to where we can literally talk about whatever we want. So just
And
give it to us.
like this, subscribe, and honestly share it as much as you can. Try to get us out there. We appreciate y'all's help. We appreciate y'all's support. And yeah, let us know if you have any topics you want to hear. But thank y'all for tuning in this week on another episode of Under Review.
See you next time.